Welcome to another conscious conversation. Today I want to give you an exercise you can add to your practice of becoming more conscious, growing stronger in your ability to hold your focus where you want to hold it. If, as you're doing this practice, you become totally consumed, as in there is no space between you and that ego voice. It has you. You are fully immersed in the emotion ocean. It is speaking through you, ranting, raving. It does not like something that is happening on the outside of it. It is justifying to you why this is wrong. It is pleading its case. It has you totally consumed. From this point, it's difficult to separate when you're really deep in that emotion ocean and it just has you. You have very little power, very little space to be able to step away from it. So here's an exercise for you to do to help in the separation. So I want you to, as the energy is building in your body, because the story, the ranting and the raving and the pleading of the case and the justification is just like you're just hearing it, and it's just floating. You're just feeling the emotion, and you're wanting to spew it out. I want you to, when you feel that energy build, I want you to do a rant by yourself. I don't want you to spew this energy out onto others, because this is toxic energy that you've accumulated in your body because you didn't have the consciousness. You were overtaken, so you in that moment didn't have a choice. But we want to get you a few steps down the road so that you can start to have a choice. And here's where we begin with this. So go to the bathroom, go to a room by yourself, and everything your mind is saying about what it is not liking, what it is angry about, what it is frustrated about, what it is disappointed about, what it is sad about, whatever it is, I want you to start speaking it out loud in a rant. So I want you to also, while you're doing this rant, I want you to, if you know EFT, if you know the tapping points, I'd like you to be doing the tapping points. If you don't know the tapping points, that's okay. You can just do the karate chop point, and that is on your hand. If you look at your hand, on the little, on your palm, right below your thumb, there's kind of a fatty part there. And I want you to take 3 fingers of the other hand, your index, your middle, and your ring finger, and just tap on that acupressure point as you're ranting. Then after, you'll say a couple of sentences, okay? And he did, and she did, and that I can't even believe, and you'll hear the pleading of the case, you'll hear the justification, and whatever else, and then you'll kind of reach this point. There's more to come, but you kind of reach this pause, a little pause. So in that little pause, or in that little breath after that rant, I want you to then ask yourself, what energy was released? What emotion was in that? Well, that was anger. And if I had to guess between 1 and 10, how strong was it? Oh, that was anger at a 217. So that was anger at a 10. Okay. All right, and then wait. And another wave will come. Okay, so you're releasing these waves of emotion from your body. There's several reasons why we're doing this. There's a lot going on here, but what might be helpful for you to know is when you have that energy in your body, it's harmful to your body. It's an energy that, if not released, it ties your body up in knots. It causes stress. It affects your chemical makeup in your body. Lots of different reactions the body will have. So I want you to look at it like a toxin, or like garbage that's been dumped in your body from this rant that's going on by the ego voice in your head, which you think is you. So you don't really have any choice in that moment. The garbage is being dumped. You're totally buying it. But what you can do is empty it. So we're emptying this garbage, okay? We're going to empty this toxin out of you without interfering with anyone else's path. So we do it alone. We're not going to tell it to our best friend. We're not going to dump it on anybody, because it's toxic energy and it's unconscious energy, and it has the potential to fuel the unconsciousness in another person and pull them off into their pain. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to create any karma, okay? That's how karma is created. When we cause harm and we stir up somebody else's unconsciousness, and that pulls them off and creates toxins in them, now we've caused harm to another. And we've influenced their path. Maybe they're practicing this consciousness and getting stronger and mastering their mind and having a disciplined mind and putting it on a leash, and you come along and you dump all this stuff, and maybe they have a matching story. And then they're like, oh yeah, that happened to me, and then they go off into their storytelling, and now that energy is starting to build in their body. So you don't want to create any harm. But it's in there, right? And sometimes venting it out is the only way to release it at that point. Okay? So I want you to, alone, within no one's earshot, which your ego won't really like that because it'll want to involve someone else. But just go spit it out. Everything that it is saying, rant it out while doing an acupressure, tapping on an acupressure point in your body. When you come to a pause and a break in the action, then I want you to identify what the energy is being released. Usually anger or frustration if you're at that point. Okay, and then go back into another rant, because it will automatically, once you say, okay, that was anger at a 10, and usually the ego voice will say, and here's why, and then it'll have another long rant, another long justification of why it's right, why it's justified in feeling what it's feeling, and then do the rant. And as you go, you're ranting, you're tapping, you're identifying and engaging how strong it is. As you go, what you're going to notice is the emotion is going to change. So as it's releasing, it's lessening in intensity. And this is good. This is how you know this is coming, this toxin. You're emptying the garbage can. You're emptying this toxic stuff out of your body. So you get down to disappointment, or I'm just so disappointed that they didn't meet my expectations, or whatever it is. Or now I'm just so sad that it's like this. Why does it have to be like this? And now the emotion is starting to die. Now the emotion is being released. Now you have, after you empty that can out of your body, you have space then for some consciousness to come in. And it may not have much time to come in, but at that point right there, it does have some time. And I did this with a client for the first time today, and I asked her, I said, so right now, and I had her wait, see if it had anything else, and it didn't. I said, right now we're both shining. At first, I was just shining the light of consciousness on it as you were emptying the garbage can. And then when it was emptied, it was both of us shining the light on on this unconscious ego voice. And it was kind of speechless. So we did several rounds before we got to the speechless part, but she got to the point where she was speechless, meaning the ego voice was kind of shying away because there was too much consciousness being shown on it, like a scared animal. It's like, oh, if you're watching me do this, I can't do it. Like, what should I say? It was too much consciousness, too much light, too much awareness. So I had her hang up the phone. I said, so I'm going to take my light away, and so you're going to go on about your daily activities, and you're kind of going to probably stop watching it and stop being so aware of it. And I want you to see how long it takes before it comes back and starts to build this energy in you again. So it's going to start with its ranting so that it can fill this garbage can up again. Okay? So I had her do that, and for her it took 11 minutes and 15 seconds. So she had a good 11 minutes of space, of peace. Nothing changed. She had no conversation with anyone to tell them how they should change and what they should do and how they shouldn't treat. Nothing, no one else was involved. Nothing in her outer world changed. But yet, here she is in peace. As deeply as she could go in peace at that time, like there was nothing happening, which meant her emotional state was calm, was balanced. Spaciousness came in, awareness came in, consciousness grew. So it came in, and I told her, I said, okay, so since you entertained the story when it started again, you probably entertained it and were overtaken by it. Go ahead and go do your release exercise. And you'll need to do this because the release exercise is temporary. It's a temporary fix. But sometimes if this is where you are on your path, sometimes that's as good as we can get you. It's temporary relief. If you want more permanent and lasting relief, and you want to have the ability to not even go to this place with this thing, once it comes to you with this story and it starts up its ranting again, at that point, you have a choice. If you can catch it, you have a choice. And eventually, the more you practice this, the more often you'll have that choice. Is to say, you know what, I can entertain it, and then I'm going to have to go to the bathroom by myself, and I'm going to have to release this. I can let it fill up my garbage can with this ranting. Or I can, and it's justification, and it's whatever. And it's righteousness, and it's how dare theys, and the all of it. I mean, I've heard it. I went in the bathroom. I heard it out loud. I did all the stuff I had to do to empty it, to get it out of my body so that it didn't create knots in me and tension and pain and sickness and whatever else that poison can create. I did all that. Or I could skip that. And because I don't really have time for that, to stop every 5 minutes to go empty this trash that's inside of me. At first, you won't have that choice, so you're going to be doing that a lot, more than likely. You'll be like, man, this is exhausting. But it's the best you got at this point. You can't stop the garbage can from getting full because you keep entertaining the story. and you don't catch it before it's already started, and you're agreeing with it, so the emotion's there, so you gotta go release it. You have no choice, but you're gonna get tired of that pretty quickly. And then the next time after you've emptied it and you go back to doing what you're doing, and it starts with a ranting, you're gonna say, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not entertaining this. Overruled. It's pleading its case. And you say, I have a choice, which is consciousness. I have a choice. I can get all worked up with this thing again and entertain the story, agree with this story, with this ranting. I can do that, and then I have to go through the whole process of releasing the emotion because I don't want it toxying up, cluttering up, poisoning, toxic. I don't know the word. I don't want it affecting my physical body. I'm trying to create a word that doesn't exist out of toxic. I can let it do that. Or I can say, I don't care. I don't have time for that story. I don't have time for that. It's not worth it. It's not worth the suffering that it causes me. And it's also not worth the exercise I have to do to get the suffering out of me, to keep it from causing problems in me. It's not worth it. I got better things to do. And the more times you can find yourself saying that, the more consciousness grows. The more your ability to hold your peace and stability, the more your ability to hold your focus where you want to hold your focus will grow. The tighter that leash will grow, that prison cell around that wild animal that we call the ego voice in your head, the shorter leash it gets. Right now it has, if you find yourself lost in the emotion ocean, it has full reign. It's off the leash. It's off the leash. It's attacking people inside your head. Maybe it's attacking you. Maybe it's even attacking people on the outside, like it's speaking through your mouth and attacking people. It's wild. It's running the show. And you're along for the ride. It is dragging you around. But through this exercise, you're learning to yank that leash and say, no, I'm not going there. I walk you, you don't walk me. I lead you, you don't lead me. I say where we go and what we focus on and what we do. Not you, ego mind. No. Because you're wild. Wild. And you create lots of suffering. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to let you lead the way and drag me all over the place and drag me through so much suffering and create so much suffering by doing what you tell me to do. It's not worth it. No. And you tighten that leash. And you're learning self-discipline. You're learning to have a disciplined mind. And in some practices, you're purifying your mind. You're coming away from the sickness that our mind, that the ego mind has. And that's just its nature, to be that. And you can accept that. But you don't have to be controlled by that. You don't have to be at the mercy of that. You have a choice. If you're conscious, if you're able to catch it in that moment. So if you're swallowed whole by that thing, that wild animal is just running rampant inside your head, and you are right there with it, being drug around, believing everything that it is saying because you think it is you. And you're ranting and raving and justifying and judging and disliking and whatever it's doing. Just know that emotion that it's put inside of you, just see yourself as a container, your body as a physical container, and all of that's being dumped in. Go release it. Then do as I asked my client to do today and go release it. Or you know what, let's do that now. Let's release it together now. What, Lovey? Come here. Come here. Maybe you have a really strong rant going in your head right now. You're very angry about something. Or maybe it didn't even happen now. It's just something that happened in the past that your mind loves to get you worked up about and to dump toxic energy in your body. So I want you to start your rant right now. Go. Rant it out loud, not in front of anybody. Go. Okay, pause. Press pause in that rant. What energy was released through that rant? What was the emotion? Now, how strong was it? 1 to 10. Okay, now rant again. Go. Pause. Stop ranting. Now, what energy was released? And what number? Okay, rant again. Go. Pause. What energy was released? What emotion? At what number? 1 to 10. How strong was it? Rant again. Go. Pause. What energy or emotion was released? At what intensity? 1 to 10. If you feel that may be all, I want you to stop. If you feel that there may be one more in there, rant again. Go. Pause. What energy was released? At what intensity? Now, if you feel it may be empty, that all the trash is out, all empty, I want you to now focus with me. We're going to, since it's empty, we get to choose where we put our focus. So we're going to focus on our breath and just notice the air as it touches the inside of your nostrils. We're going to do this for 5 breaths. Okay, so in, out, just be with the breath and notice the breath as it touches in, out. Be with the breath, notice the breath, in, out. Notice the breath, be with the breath. Feel it touch the inside of your nose. Just notice what you notice. In, out. We'll do it one more time. In, out. Good. So consciousness is growing and light is shining inside, even if it's just a little flicker. It's growing and shining. Getting bigger. Space is getting bigger. Calm is coming in. Peace is coming in. There's an empty container here. Now, after you stop listening to this, I want you to set your timer. And I want you to see how long that it takes for the new rant to come. And they did, and then da-da-da-da-da-da. Or the new story, or the new dialogue, or the new thought. Whatever the thought is, it is the ego voice thinking it. You're just the watcher, not the thinker. See how long it takes for it to start talking to you again. It may start talking to you again and not be trying to stir up, a strong emotion. Just, talking. And then it might try to subtly suggest you go do something or go do this or go do that or try to control you in that way. Just notice what it does when it comes back. We emptied it out and we've stepped into the position of awareness and holding the space. But it's going to come try to take that space back with its poisonous stories. Notice how long it takes for it to do that. And if it comes in strong, you may not have a choice but to just feel it and go along with it and then go empty it. But if it doesn't come in too strong, you may have the opportunity to say, you know what, I don't care about that. Overruled. I'm gonna focus where I want to focus. I'm gonna hold my focus. It's coming for your focus. Because your consciousness is in your focus, whatever you're focused on. Whoever's in control of the focus is in control of you and your experience. So it's coming for that. See what it uses to try to get it, to try to get you to hand it over to it. to try to get you to pay loads of attention to it, to try to get you to agree with it. As soon as you agree with it, guess who's holding the focus? Guess who's holding the leash? Guess who's in control? Now you get to suffer. But if you can catch it and say, no thank you, not interested, not worth it, I don't care about that, I'm not interested in that, that doesn't matter to me, I could take it or leave it, I don't care about that, I'm done with that, it doesn't matter to me, overruled, no thanks. You get to hold the leash. You get to then choose where you put your focus. Where do you want to put your focus? I'd put it on something peaceful, something pretty benign, something beautiful, something enjoyable. I'd put it on those things. But the thing is, you can put it on whatever you choose because you're conscious. This is just one tool of many, many tools that you can use in your work towards self-mastery, towards mental discipline, towards consciousness. Towards ending the madness. Just one tool. And it came today because I realized in working with people, even though it would be easier if everybody just showed up and just wanted me to feed the consciousness that's already there. But what if they show up and that little spark that's in all of us is so covered up? What do? You can't expect them to be able to accept the fuel or the food you're giving them. They can't do it at that moment. They're too being tossed around in the emotion ocean. They can't. It's too far of a reach. It's too big of a step. So we have to break it down into smaller bites, smaller steps that are obtainable, that are doable, that do accept and work with where you are. It's okay to be where you are in this practice, always. Accept where you are. Work with where you are. Look at what you're working with. And we're just wanting seconds, moments where there's a break in the energy, a stillness in that ocean. Any little crack in the door that we can put our foot in and feel the stillness, feel that calm energy for a second. And then maybe a big wave comes back and overtakes us again, and that's okay. Just accept it. It's painful, it hurts, it's not fun. Relax, accept it, it's okay. What you are is okay. That crazy thing in your head could be suffering alone if you just relax and you don't agree with what it's saying. Just hear all of its justification. Just listen, just observe, and just relax, knowing that that is not you. Just ride the wave, and then release it. Release the energy. Rant it out, harming no one. Rant it out, release it, empty the container. There's your stillness. Because then it'll need to tell more words. It'll need more words to build that energy back up. You just emptied all the words out and all the energy that it had built up. So it's going to need to tell more words. It's going to need more thoughts, more words, more content, more dialogue about that thing to get the emotions stirred up again. It can't do it without the words. It can't do it without the thoughts. That's why if you stop it right there, if you stop it at the point of, here, come with me in these thoughts. No, thank you. You don't have to suffer with it. You're not interested. The energy is not built up in you. There is no suffering. It's in the entertaining of the thoughts and agreeing with the thoughts that the pain and the emotion is created in you. If you're already there, it's already happened, accept that. It's okay. You didn't catch it. It's okay. It was a big one. It was a big wave. And you weren't able to remember, oh, just relax. It won't kill you. It's just a wave, it's just a thought. It's just a thought. I don't have to fight with it or struggle with it or suffer with it. I can just see it and let it just wash right over. There it goes. There that is. And maybe you tensed up and you believed it. And you were like, oh my God, you're right. And how could they? And now you are struggling with the wave. You're struggling and fighting too. Go release the energy in you. Rant it out. Puke it out. Throw it up. Purge it out of you. That will give you, even if you get overtaken by every single wave and you just can't remember not to entertain it. You just can't remember. Even if you have to do this exercise 50,000 times a day, you do get some space. You do get some temporary relief. But I believe that you won't do it 50,000 times a day. I believe that you will get tired of that pretty quick, having to just get the temporary relief and then have to go back into that again. And you'll start to see the thing that's causing the pain is not you. And you'll realize you have a choice. And then you're conscious. I hope this has helped you, and I'll see you again for another one soon.